Alright guys, after many weeks of talking, I have arrived on the corner of Harrison and 6th in Leadville, Colorado. Plan today is to go out and do 6 miles out, 6 miles back. Get the feeling of that start line, get the feeling of that finish line. Okay, let's get out there and I'll tell you more en route. Feels great to be in Leadville. Felt rather emotional driving into town, parking up and walking the main street. And here we go, out along the course. That's what the view back to the finish line is going to look like. But we get ahead of ourselves. As always, time to look back before we look forward. Okay, last 7 days. What did it look like? Well, if you recall, we finished up with that hilly run up and down where I was saying things weren't feeling too stressful or too hard. But then I got a bit disorientated at the end of the run and ended up adding on a few miles. And man, I was exhausted at the end of it. I can feel the altitude. Slow and steady. In my haste getting my nutrition for this run, I saw some tailwind and I said, haven't tried tailwind for a while. So I went and filled up 2 bottles of tailwind and then completely forgot about going back and getting the rest of my nutrition. So in my pack I have 1 gel, 1 RX bar, which I wasn't planning to have, and 2 500 mils of tailwind. Okay, onwards. Oh yeah, and just for context, today is Thursday, 3rd of August I think? It's definitely Thursday anyway. Just missed this turn off. I've got both watches on today, the Coros and the Garmin. Haven't really used the Coros for navigation much yet, and it did actually lead me down at the end of that run where I got disorientated. I tried to turn on the navigation and it wasn't intuitive at all. I actually ended up having to delete that activity off my Coros because, long story. Anyway, it annoyed me. Okay, I feel like I'm blabbing a little bit, so let's get back to business. On the Wednesday I did a 4 mile around the lake, just easy, gentle, following that exhausting run on the Tuesday. Thursday I had Run for the Ranch, episode 3, 5k, hard as you can, and this is how it went. Another baking hot one. Slipped back tonight, really felt Tuesday's run in my legs, particularly on the hills. So for the first time I felt a little bit sluggish, but I don't know what my time is. We'll check that out afterwards. Probably in around the same. What else? Yeah, I had food around 4, half 4. I don't know what that impacted as well. I didn't do that the last 2 weeks. I'm looking for excuses here, guys. Help me out. Help me out. 10th overall, I think. Okay, so I actually came 5th overall, which was a little surprising, and my time was pretty comparable to the week before. It was 1750, I think. I'll throw it up on screen. They had chip timing and actual real numbers. They were going all out. I think this might be what they call the boulevard. For me running out of town, it's just a gentle downhill, but obviously after 99 miles or whatever it will be coming back into town, when you're walking it, you'll be going, I really should be able to run this. But it's long. So Friday we hit the road for Las Vegas, which was going to be our first stop off on our way here to Colorado. And as memory serves, I didn't run at all. Okay, time to pack up the car for Colorado. Let's go. Let's go.
What's the temperature like, Dave?
Baking. 115 Fahrenheit. A rest day behind the wheel of a car. So the funny thing is, I had been to Vegas about 20 years ago. So I had done the strip. Claire had never been. So we pulled in and parked in Caesar's Palace, walked the strip, went into some of the hotels, And after about half an hour, Claire said, okay, I get it. I've seen enough. Not for me. Let's go. Girl after my own heart. And just a point to note, initial impressions of the start of the Leadville 100. It's a pretty wide, very wide by all accounts, opening mile or two. We'll see how long it stays this way, but plenty of time to find your position in the pack. So I like those kind of races. I don't like where you're immediately put into a chute where it can be very frustrating and you're stuck in a long line. So if you recall at the end of my last video, I was wondering where I might get the opportunity to squeeze in my long run last weekend, and somebody had recommended going out to Red Rock Canyon, but when I looked at it, it was a bit too far outside Vegas. So I did a little research, and lo and behold, the Las Vegas runners were meeting at 5:30 a.m. and that worked out really, really well for a number of different reasons. A, because it was so early, it allowed us to get out of our accommodation, do the run, and still be able to get back, shower and pack and get out before official checkout time. And two, obviously there was enough time to do the long run. And actually three, and possibly most importantly, they put out 2 water stations on a 6-mile loop, so there was water available at mile 2 and mile 4. So it made my 20.65 mile run very comfortable indeed. I was carrying enough myself because I wasn't sure that was going to be the case, but it ended up being a great long run. Very solid, very good with the nutrition. Although, speaking of nutrition, man alive, I had some of those Cliff Chews. I know a lot of you probably use them, but when I came to open it, I could not for the life of me get that packet open. I was trying to rip it, I was trying to get it in between my teeth, and in the end I ended up wrapping it off a gate just to get the bleeding thing open. I don't know, in 2023 I gotta believe our technology is better. So Saturday ended up being a very long day indeed. After that 20-mile run, I then had a 7-hour drive to Moab, definitely broken up with a few nice stops, which only extended the journey. I think we got in about 9:30 p.m. exhausted. Although the jacuzzi closed at 10, so we threw ourselves in for 15 or 20 minutes. Okay, trail is getting a little more rugged after just over 3 miles. So after what was a fire road, we're now onto a rubbly road, we'll call it. And just going back to the week there, a big shout out to Mothership Coffee Roastery. That's where I met the Las Vegas runners on Saturday morning. Not only did they serve the best coffee I've probably had since I came to the States, but also I accidentally left my running vest on a seat in their store, and they very generously sent it on to me here in Colorado. It's en route as we speak. Alright, Rubble Road didn't last too long before it turned right and onto another fire road. So that's just over 4 miles and everything has been wide, runnable, a little lumpy. There's definitely ups and downs, but very runnable so far. Okay, so Sunday morning, having arrived late into Moab, we made our way directly to Arches National Park, where we had our timed entry of 8 a.m. to go and visit the fiery furnace. And just a little further on, I'm going to say about 4¼ miles, we turn left up onto a standard paved road. With traffic, but we didn't have time to really enjoy Arches National Park to its fullest, so we just went in, did our fiery furnace walk, which was really, really good, let's be honest. And we got in before the guided tour started. We were doing it self-guided and really enjoyed just, you know, yeah, I don't know that you can really get lost, you know, so long as you can always make your way back. The idea is that, you know, you're in a labyrinth and you could find yourself lost. The ranges were a bit, I don't know whether they like people doing it on their own. The guy when we were going in was like, don't die in there. Okay, a bit of a joke. But a couple of other guys were, when we stopped to talk to some other people, shouted at us to say that groups aren't allowed to mingle. And another guy, when he saw us looking around, was certainly offering no assistance whatsoever. I don't know, I just felt they could be a little nicer. We certainly enjoyed ourselves. Got some great snaps in the slot canyons and looking at these amazing rock formations before hopping in our car and making our way back to Moab. We did want to get a look at the town and get a look at the start of the Moab 240? Yeah, 240 start finish line. And so we grabbed some lunch, took a walk around town. It had that quaint kind of old school American feel, a bit like Auburn, a bit like Leadville, a bit like Frisco where we're staying. I'll get to that. So it was very nice. And then I made my way, well, Claire and I made our way out to the RV site where the Moab 240 starts and finishes. Alright, as far as I can tell, the Moab 240 starts and finishes in this mobile home slash camper van park. So it starts here, heads out and goes off on a big 240-mile loop and comes back here then and finishes up. Someday maybe, someday. Alright, this appears to be where we turn onto the single track. Okay, what I've learned so far is no need to go too fast. You know, people said, oh, it's very hard to pass people once you get onto the single track, but you should really be in your proper position after whatever that is, 5 miles or so, more even. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Alright, good time to complete my catch-up week discussion. So on the Sunday we completed our drive from Moab to Frisco in Colorado. We chose to stay in Frisco, which is about 35 minutes, give or take, from Leadville, because we have some very good friends living in Frisco. Sharon and Glenn, big shout out, they've been super welcoming so far, no surprise. And we arrived there Sunday. Today is Thursday, so you might ask what's taken me so long to get up here, but just getting used to the altitude and also having some orientation time with those guys down in Frisco. Oh yeah, it's definitely a walker, all right. Which will be nice change after what will hopefully have been about 5 miles of running continuously. So on Monday I went out and did 8 miles locally in Frisco, heading towards Breckenridge, and you know what, I felt okay. But that's what the science says. If you're going to do a race at altitude, either fly in the day beforehand or else fly in a week beforehand. If you come in 2 or 3 days beforehand, you're going to feel awful. But we'll get to that. But yes, felt fine during the run. But on Monday afternoon, sitting on the couch, I had that completely exhausted. You know, where it's almost involuntary that you flop onto the couch and catch some Z's. Okay, after that climb we came onto a very short section of road before turning onto the single track proper and coming around by the side of Turquoise Lake. Let's take a look up here. Okay, well done chorus, you've told me I'm off track, happy with that. Okay, so we're going to travel around the perimeter of this lake for quite some time. Not today though. Today my plan is to do 6 miles out and 6 miles back, as I mentioned. Don't want to wreck myself up here. Nice and steady. And maybe tomorrow Claire and I will come up, park at May Queen, which is the 12.6 mile section, and run back and do this piece that I won't have picked up today. Speaking of chorus, if you watched last week's episode, I did ask them if I could keep on to it. I have it on a loaner program at the moment until the Leadville race, to which the guy came back and said no, either pay it up or give it back. Yeah, well, as soon as I started to move again, my watch clicked for 6 miles. And as Claire will say, I've always got to go a little bit further, don't I? So I'm just going a little bit further. I've come up here to the 6.3 mile, only because the first aid station is 12.6 miles, so this is exactly halfway. But now that I stop here, I see there's a parking lot type thing over there, so I feel like I need to go that far. Alright, it's a nice recreation area, and as I said, it'll be a very clear spot for me tomorrow or whenever I do the May Queen back to here piece of my recce. For anyone who's watching who's doing the course as well, there are public toilets right on the course here at approximately 6.4, maybe 6.5 miles. I think I'll go over there and have my little lunch break on that pontoon. Okay, time to change my mindset. And the outward run, it's all, this is the start of the race, you're full of energy, oh yeah, this is great. Now it's time to head back. So where's the energy going to be at that stage? Ah, how long does this go on for? I can't believe, I don't remember it being this long. I don't remember this hill being this long. Okay, heading back into Leadville. We're going to finish this thing out, come on! Come on, what you got left? But just to go back and complete out the week to this point, on Tuesday morning I went out for a run. Claire had gone out of the house before me, and about a mile into my run I got a call from Claire saying that she just had a very close encounter with a fully grown black bear and could I come run with her. So she was still a bit rattled when I met her, but so long as you give them their space, they're okay, and she did everything right. Just made herself big and backed away. So after the bear had trotted away and I had delivered Claire safely back to the apartment, I continued on my own run, which was a bit of a mixed bag. It had already been a mixed bag up to that point, but I followed this long trail up into the woods, which, long story short, eventually disappeared into nothing. So came back down the same way, but only about half a mile, quarter of a mile from home, came upon this fully grown bull moose munching away in the woods. So he didn't seem to mind me. I certainly didn't mind him in that context. So I stood and watched him for about 10 minutes before making my way on home. Yesterday, Wednesday, woke up feeling very tired. But Claire was adamant that she wanted to go out for a 6-mile run and would like me to join her just along a bike path. So I said that would be fine. Went out, did that 6-mile run nice and easy. But man, I have not had as low an energy day since I've arrived in America. After that, I was just good for nothing really for the day. Really low energy. Didn't want to do anything. But they do say the worst part of altitude acclimatization is that 48 to 72 hour period, which I'm now past. So I'm hoping that, my body is starting to get used to the fact that I'm going to be up here for a while, and this was all part of the plan anyway. Come up early, let the body get used to it. We still have a little over two weeks before the race, so we don't do anything crazy right now. We do our recce, we do some running just to keep the legs turning over, and we arrive on the start line at 4 a.m. on the 19th of August, ready to go boom, boom, boom. Let's do it. These are very long runnable sections of terrain if you've still got the legs left. I'll have my pacer with me at this stage, and hopefully I can just grind it out. That was a longer section of road coming up in this direction than I remembered going in that direction. But the key point to remember is you got to cross the railway line and straight afterwards turn right down here. Okay, I think I might change up my bottles here. I have consumed almost one 500ml of Tailwind and one 500ml of water. I have one of each in the back of my pack, so let me change those out right now. No need to get your feet wet at the start of the race. Okay, I will definitely be running that rocky road, as I'm sure everyone will be. But then you come up onto the boulevard. Big long stretch of smooth fire road. Please let me have the energy and the will to run this. And just know, with less than 3 miles from the top of that Rubble Road, I can see that finish line dead ahead. Come on, we can do this. And there it is, sneaky uphill at the end. Hopefully adrenaline will carry me over the finish line, but super recce there. That's probably my most important recce. To know those last 5 or 6 miles, invaluable. So that's it for this week, guys. Plan for the week ahead is just to reduce the mileage and continue doing my recce's. With just a little over 2 weeks to go, I will try and get the 2 big climbs in the race, Hope Pass and Powerline, out of the way sooner rather than later, so that I give myself every chance to relax and be in good shape on the 19th when the race starts. Look at this area here. I believe they're getting ready for something. So stay tuned and we'll get out there and we'll check out more of this Leadville 100 course. Alright, catch you next week.